The war in Vietnam was not simply stopped because Henry Kissinger went to Paris and signed a peace treaty, although he won the Nobel Prize, which is a little mind-boggling. I mean, it's Henry Kissinger, the Nobel Peace Prize? If there were a Nobel War Prize, well, I could understand it. But anyway, for signing the peace treaty. But that's not what brought the United States to the point where it had to stop the war, had to get out of Vietnam. Oh, sure, a very big element, and it was the tremendous resistance the United States faced in Vietnam, a war we simply seemed not to be able to win. But the other important factor was that there was an enormous anti-war movement in the United States, the likes of which had never been seen in American history, and not in the history of many countries in the world. Has there been a domestic anti-war movement which played such an important part in bringing a war to an end? And wasn't done by the President and Congress. They were not the initiators of it. They were the followers of it. They were the reluctant signers of the treaties and so on. So, you know, all of this is to indicate that you look at any president and you look at Clinton and you ask yourself about what the state of the country is and what needs to be done, it is very important to understand that the things that need to be done in this country are not simply going to be done by having a nicer president. And granted, some presidents are nicer than others. I'm not taking the absolute position they're all exactly the same. No, they're not all exactly the same. There are differences. The only point I'm making is that the differences are not significant enough for us to lay back and say, well, now things are taken care of. Now we've elected a new guy. That's not the way change takes place. And we've had a long history of going from Democrat to Republican and Republican to Democrat. And again, not denying that there have been differences. But the differences have not been enough to make the kind of fundamental changes that we need to make in this country in order to really make it the kind of wonderful place that many of us grew up thinking that America could be, should be, and perhaps that we thought it was. And the problems that we face are very serious ones. And they require something more than going from Republican to Democrat and Democrat to Republican.